All right, everybody, quick update. First of all, I really appreciate all the comments regarding private games. You know, it was really interesting, and the best part about this whole situation is that from mistakes we learn, from success we don't. That's a little quote I take from Meet the Robinsons. And for those of you who haven't watched the other video concerning private games in Iowa, essentially just something happened where somebody started up a private game when they were far down on the list in order to jump the list. I had a conversation with Brian, the poker room manager here. He's very professional about it. Same thing with the general manager, very professional about it. And they're going to have a new policy, which is really good. Something that actually probably needed to be implemented to ensure that players can't just jump the list by starting a private game. So any private games in Iowa have to be pre-scheduled ahead of time, 24 hours notice. So that way, if you show up on a Saturday night and you see that there's a list, 10, 20 people deep and you want to get in, you can't just start a private game. So that's really good that they're having that policy going forward, as it's a policy that was obviously very much needed. So I'm happy that WSOP handled it in a professional manner. Caesars Entertainment handled it in a professional manner. I did find out that the player who started the private game has been previously banned from that establishment, and they discussed that as well. And I said, hey, I always believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt. I said, obviously, that's a conversation you need to have with your GM. It was a conversation I had with Brian. I said, if that's what you guys choose to do, that's what you guys choose to do. But I always believe in giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's really unfortunate too, because the host of that game obviously doesn't know me and is not aware that I give people the benefit of the doubt, and he didn't even want to hesitate to do that for me. But in any case, that's basically a quick update on Iowa. Today, I didn't play any Pot Limit Omaha. My flight to Vegas today happened to be canceled, so I'm going to play one more day in Iowa. Today, all I played was No Limit Hold'em. I have one quick hand to go over real quick for you guys, and I know it's Hold'em, and most Hold'em is cookie cutter, same type of stuff, but I was explaining to a guy, a new subscriber who was sitting next to me, that I think Hold'em, that Pot Limit Omaha is a lot more skillful than Hold'em, and he said, well, Professor, you have $3,300 in front of you. That took a lot of skill. And I said, well, not really. The hand that I had was 5-6 of clubs. Gentleman who's under the gun +1 opens up to 35, who tends to be a little bit of a tighter player. And middle position calls, the hijack calls, the cutoff calls, the button calls, and I close out the action for 35. So we go 6 ways to the flop for $35. And with the 5-6 of clubs in my hand, I really like that holding. Flop comes up 7 of clubs, 8 of clubs, 10 of clubs. I check because there's a maniac at the table who I've been patiently waiting for just to blast off all of his chips. And he's got about 1,600 in front of him. I have about 1,335 in front of me. It goes to the original raiser, who just rips it all in for $335. And then first player folds, it gets to the maniac, and he raises all in for $1,600. It folds back to me, and I decide to call for $1,335. I did think for a second, because I was like, wow, just open, rip it. But I went ahead and called. The first player who had jammed all in shows 8-10, so he flops top 2 pair. The maniac, who was really raising a lot, pre-flop, doing some 3-betting when he had strong hands, wakes up with pocket kings with the king of clubs. So we had to fade a club, and we had to fade the board pairing. The turn was a jack of diamonds, and the river was the king of hearts, giving us still a flopped flush, so we end up scooping that. So that's basically my whole day. I waited around and played for, 8 hours. I was in for 1,500, and I was out for 3,200. So the action is good here at Council Bluffs. And it's definitely a place that I am looking forward to coming back, especially with this new rule, because, the Pot Limit Omaha games will continue to go while the circuit events are here in town. So if you are looking for a place to play in the Midwest, and you're not that far away from Council Bluffs here in Iowa, I would encourage you guys to stop by and check it out. So as always, in the meantime, play smart and run like a god.